Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about another potential winter storm. Yeah, I wouldn't really call it a snowstorm. It could be a fairly big system though, around this upcoming Friday and Saturday. So kind of like a weekend storm. This storm looks pretty impactful, I would say. However, it looks a little bit disorganized. The models have been kind of disagreeing on this system. Earlier on, some models were showing a bigger snowstorm. Now they're showing more of a rain event. Either way, it's going to be a big system, it seems. Lots of rain for the south. That's the most likely travel impact. A little bit of snow for the north. And that's what we will be talking about. We'll also go over some issues with this system going on right now. If you would like to subscribe to this channel, consider doing so. If you'd like to like this video, if you watch my videos, and you watch them and you like them, tell me that you like them, as that really gets out the video to more people, and that's the best thing you can do. So notice that we are looking at basically a large system, kind of elongated. It really basically is starting to weaken this first low pressure. However, we have a big surge of moisture coming from the Gulf right there. Lots of resurgence of moisture with that, and of course that's going to bring in another reinvigorated low right there. You can see by tomorrow early wee morning hours, 6 o'clock in the morning, we have a strong low of 981 millibars of pressure around the peninsula of Michigan, not the UP, the part where the thumb of the mitten, if you will. Michigan always looks like your left hand, kind of if it was in a mitten, kind of like that thumb of the mitten. You could see right there possibly a pretty strong low, some strong winds, mainly rain for those locations. On the backside, maybe a little bit of snow, though this is probably overdone with this snow on this backside. Mainly blizzard conditions going on over here. It doesn't look too impressive, right? Well, again, it's blizzard. The blizzard definition doesn't actually, and I guess, incorporate the intensity of the snow into its definition. It doesn't have to be snowing at all, quite frankly. It could be just snow on the ground that's being whipped up, as long as the visibility is less than 1/4, winds greater than 35 miles per hour. And if that visibility is under 1/4 for 3 hours, it needs to be for duration. And notice that it won't look too impressive. However, there are still blizzard warnings hoisted, and it will continue to be like that. Also, for my friends in Kansas, there is some unexpected snow going on right there. Yeah, there was some flurries in the forecast, snow showers across Wichita. I don't know who watches my channel from Wichita, but for you, yes, it is snowing as I'm recording this video, and it seems like if it may overproduce a little bit, possibly up to an inch of snow over there. As it's a little bit impressive the things are going on with this system. It's holding itself pretty well together, so I'm imagining this system right here will be possibly even stronger than what it's shown right here, though they're showing a beast. I mean, look at that, 982, 975. Notice all that rain that comes from the south, it's transitioned into very heavy snow, which the amounts of snow will be very high with this around the UP and upper Michigan, northern Michigan. Southern Michigan doesn't seem to get much out of it other than that the rewrap of that. You can see several inches will still probably fall. 1 to 3, I would say, good for southern Michigan. Northern Indiana, maybe 1. Northeastern Illinois, 1 to 2. Southern and central Wisconsin, 1 to 3. Maybe even 3 to 5 as you move up towards Green Bay. Notice, however, this storm basically wraps itself up, and this low kind of starts dissipating, the one that reinvigorated itself, and a third one possibly starts forming right here across Maine and into Nova Scotia. That could also be an issue, but overall, the biggest concern is also the ice. I mean, there will be a lot of that, so there are some ice storm warnings across the Northeast. Really, I think you got the worst of that. I mean, rain is bad, yeah. Snow is pretty miserable, but that is just beyond miserable. Ice, no one wants that. And notice we get a little bit of a break, though we have lots and lots of moisture coming in from the northwest. I mean, we just get an absolute plume of moisture from the northwest, from the Pacific. And that storm really holds itself together. I mean, you can see it drags a lot of moistures into the plain. So, though it gets kind of helped out by the Gulf of Mexico. And you can see the setup for this is really nice. We have two systems, one from the Gulf of Mexico bringing lots of moisture up, one from the north. It's just really, really tough that these systems don't phase together and produce a little bit more of a snow event. You could see, I mean, yes, some light rain, pretty heavy rain to the south, it seems, especially at the beginning of the system. However, notice that this would be occurring around the Friday, Saturday time frame. a little bit of light snow to moderate snow across the plains of Minnesota. But really, the main of the snow event is across southern Canada, over in here across Ontario, really occurring for the most part across southern Ontario, which again would be impactful for those areas, but not really for the U.S. And you can see it moves further along, but doesn't do much other than leave behind a cold blast of air and possibly another clipper that just blows itself up right there. I mean, literally, it blows up, not itself, but it just blows up into a pretty big storm, which we'll have to watch for a possible system across the northeast right there. But overall, the main concern is this system. The rain amounts will be pretty impressive from this one, especially across the south. There will be a good plume of moisture. There will be some across the mid-central portion of the country. Now, again, this is Friday, Saturday, so will things change? Definitely. Will they change into making a weak system like this into a strong system? Possibly, not not 100%, but it's definitely there. Could the system completely fall apart and not really do much? That's also a possibility, not 100%, but there. So you can see that leaves us at a tough position. Really, not much snow out of this, but quite a bit of rain. And if we were to look at the total precip, it wouldn't really give us a good estimate, as some of this rain would be from that previous event that we just had. But let's see. Let's try our best. So let's see what rain falls from Winter Storm Gage. That's what the Weather Channel named this system. You can see across the south, they're mainly done with it. It's mainly the Ohio Valley and up north where the rain falls. So if you were to look at this, you could see that's a lot of rain with that second system. That could definitely lead to some flooding, and I would imagine that would be just ridiculous amounts of precip right there, as shown by this GFS. This one has potency, this system, which makes me wonder that this may be phased together a little bit better by the models in the coming days, though it definitely doesn't have to. Let's look at the model run prior to this, the GFS. You can see it also had a similar storm, really coming through, a little bit more organized with a little bit more precip, but still relatively weak. Really weak. I mean, it's nothing to go home about. There will be some winds across northern Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, UP of Michigan that could be pretty strong from this system, and some lake effect, but no huge blizzards, no huge, snowfall amounts, not really heavy snow with this. If we were to look at a couple days prior to this, let's go to, well, not a couple prior, let's go a couple model runs prior to this, 12Z Saturday. Let's see how it did this. You can see also pretty disorganized, didn't really do much, had a system to the north, system to the south. Seems like a pretty large rainmaker. Not really a snowmaker, but relatively speaking, again, it's still a large system. So that is definitely why we'll still keep an eye on it, as things could change with this. If we were to look at the European model side of these things, I'm not sure if I don't think they're looking too impressive either. If we were to look at the European right there, is January 3rd, Friday. You can see there's that system. So it's there, it definitely is. So they're agreeing that there will be some sort of disturbance, but also look at the European, brings in quite a bit of cold air, which is pretty good news for the snow lovers and the cold air levels and winter lovers, not levels. But notice that not really too awfully organized as well. I'll show you pivotal weather so you could actually see the surface map, as this geopotential height is a little bit tough to see. So this is the European model, I guess, opinion on this system. Notice that we have that first system, Winter Storm Gage, that comes through and drops a little bit of snow, additional snow, quite a bit of amounts, actually, quite some strong amounts across the UP. Further south you go, less in amounts, but notice that passes through. We get that Pacific moisture from that big storm right there. And we get the European, by the way, also just really doesn't bring the moisture from the Pacific that is here earlier into the country. Just kind of gets dissipated by the mountains. I mean, look, basically nothing comes out, and all of the moisture is coming from the south. Notice the south would be getting loads of rain out of this, so this could be a large rainmaker for the south. However, really not much snow to this. A little bit of snow across Michigan, Wisconsin, possibly. But the European and GFS are in pretty good agreement. There's just not too much cold air to go around with this system. Notice that after the system passes, we could have cold air, and you can see that sets the stage for maybe a couple other systems that are more relatively bigger snowmakers, like this one out here. Weak, but it could change into a larger storm, and you can see it's mainly snow to the north. So that brings us to the other point, that it looks as if some very chilly air will be on its way. And let's look at the 2-meter temperature anomalies. It looks rather chilly for the good portion of the U.S. So up until this point, we've been looking at very warm temperatures, as you can see, indicated by these warm orange colors. This is the anomalies, and some areas were just ridiculously above average. I mean, 30 to 40 degrees above average, which would give you 60s in some locations, and that's what we've been seeing. We were looking at 60s here in Chicago, which was just absolutely absurd. I know some portions of Indiana got almost into the low 70s, but that's gonna be short-lived. As you could see, those warm temperatures were basically the opposite of a polar vortex. They were as extreme as a polar vortex, just in the opposite direction. So if that gives you a little bit of an insight. Notice mountains are pretty darn chilly, and that's a little bit of surprising information, as there isn't really chill to the west of the mountains or to the east. It's just in the mountains, kind of blocked up there from that system that delivered it, which was Winter Storm Gage. And notice the Fahrenheits it's not the actual temperature, but these are the anomalies. So most of these locations don't really see a average high of 40, but rather closer to 20. So if you have 20 below, normally you're looking at 0. So this is taking an awful long time to load. Maybe we could just look at some other aspect of this. I guess we can't, because there's not much to this. Let's just see if we could wait for this to reload. But overall, it looks as if the warm air will come to an end. Let's just look at the European on the tropical tidbits. And if we were to look at this, you can see all those blue colors that indicate some chillier air. And we could kind of reaffirm that by looking at the 500 millibar height anomalies. Basically, wherever the blue is, that's below average heights of a certain pressure of 500 millibars of pressure, and when the pressure is lower at a lower height, then that indicates cooler air. And notice that again, this would be indicated by all these blue colors, which my computer is barely trying to handle, or able to handle. I guess so that just indicates I have to stop this video. It's 12 minutes in. You know, I don't like making longer videos, but notice blue colors across a good portion of the country, looking at some chillier temps. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing to this channel, and I will catch you all guys on the next episode. See ya. Bye.